I've watched countless videos about Cowboy Bebop, about the music, the narration, the characters, the atmosphere, and all of that deserves the attention it gets. But there was always something else, a small detail, easy to miss, never the focus of those videos. Something that stuck with me long after the episodes ended, something no one really talks about. So here we are. Because Cowboy Bebop isn't just stylish, it isn't just well-written. It quietly assumes something about the future that feels unsettling now. In its world, the internet is already over. Not gone, not erased, just reduced to leftovers. In most futuristic stories, the internet doesn't exist as an ordinary activity. You rarely see people going online, scrolling, downloading, pirating movies. Instead, the internet is pushed to an extreme. It's either almost non-existent, or it becomes everything. In Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One, the Oasis is an immersive 3D virtual environment. A single platform where people interact through headsets and avatars. Social life, competition, and identity all take place inside it. It's immersive, persistent, and central. A Web 3.0 taken to its limit. In The Matrix, the idea goes even further. The network isn't a place you enter, it is reality. A simulated environment where connection is no longer an action, but a condition, closer to a Web 4.0. Different stories, same decision. The internet becomes the subject. What we almost never see is a future where the internet simply remains in the background, still there, still used, but no longer dominant, no longer exciting, no longer worth centering the world around. It degrades, it gets repurposed, it becomes infrastructure. That's what makes Cowboy Bebop unusual. The show aired in 1998, when the internet was still expanding. Chat rooms were growing, websites were multiplying, online communities were forming everywhere. People weren't asking if the internet would disappear, they were asking how big it could get. And yet, Cowboy Bebop treats it as something that already peaked.
Cowboy Bebop never explains its assumptions through speeches. It shows how the network is used. When the internet appears in that world, it functions as a tool, not a gathering space. It serves no public discourse, no ideological exchange, no communal presence. It resembles a legacy system that persists because it still works. Access requires knowledge, use requires intent. Those who interact with it are specialists, hackers, operators. They do not browse, they enter to extract, bypass, or reach systems that remain closed to ordinary access. Its presentation matters. The network feels like salvage, abandoned infrastructure searched for remaining utility. A sealed building entered because power still runs through its walls. The virtual environment lacks any social layer. No crowd, no culture, no shared momentum. Only function. In Bebop, the internet operates as residual infrastructure. It responds when handled correctly. That detail implies a future where the network becomes less visible and more technical. Its role recedes into the background of daily life. It remains relevant only to those who know how to use it as a tool. Once that framing becomes clear, it reshapes how the present internet is understood.
Today, the internet is more active than ever. More posts, more comments, more videos, more reactions. Yet the activity feels thinner. A growing share of what fills feeds now isn't made to be read carefully or watched with attention. It's filler, AI-generated content, recycled formats, endless variations of the same idea, rewritten, reposted, optimized. Not made to communicate, made to occupy space. This is the slop layer, content that exists only to keep the system moving. And when that stops working, something else takes over. Rage. Outrage becomes the last reliable signal, the fastest way to force a reaction in a space where genuine attention is exhausted. Not discussion, not curiosity, just friction. People argue not because they care, but because anger still cuts through the noise, as if the internet as a social space is already fatigued, too crowded, too repetitive, too hollow to support normal interaction anymore. So the system leans on extremes: AI content to flood the space, rage bait to extract engagement from what's left. The internet didn't lose users, it lost presence. You can feel it when you scroll. Endless content that convey nothing. It lost the feeling that interaction meant something. In Cowboy Bebop, the network became irrelevant because people moved on. In our world, it stayed central, but much of what passes for interaction now is either automated or provoked.
The internet didn't go quiet, it became noisy in a way that no longer feels social. And that's why the feeling is so specific. You're surrounded by voices, posts, replies, and yet it feels like no one is really there. Not because the internet is empty, but because the parts that once felt human are being drowned out by systems that don't need us and emotions that burn out fast. The internet didn't die the way fiction imagined. It stayed alive, just exhausted. In Cowboy Bebop, this future is shown with almost unsettling precision. When Edward goes online using a headset, the network isn't empty, it's overloaded. Colorful banners, flashing visuals, layers of noise, the remains of an internet built entirely around dopamine and attention. But Edward doesn't go there to socialize, she goes there to use it, to hack, to access information. The internet isn't a social space anymore, it's a tool wrapped in the leftovers of an overstimulated system. When Shinichiro Watanabe and Keiko Nobumoto wrote Cowboy Bebop, were already adults by the late 90s in Japan. They were working long hours, moving between studios, cities, and deadlines. They were already surrounded by machines, screens, and systems as part of daily life. Technology wasn't new to them, it wasn't abstract, it was already ordinary. What stood out instead was what stayed constant. At the end of the day, a novelty, even reinventing itself multiple times, cannot stay a veil around humans, as it can't respond to all their cravings and desires.